You see, for example, in Central Africa, countries in Central Africa, the way that people accept. That's why last time I will talk about the complexity of a mentality in Central Africa. The thing is, in Central Africa, countries in Central Africa, you have people who last in power for years, for decades. You never ask yourself how people can stay longer in power. It's not because they only pressure. You'll be surprised to see that the population on their own are okay with the system. You have those who maybe just complain for a few months, for a few years, and then all of a sudden they're okay. They keep the power. So for a system to last that long, it has to be both sides, okay? For a system to last that long, it has to be both sides who work together. You see that these people can stay in power for decades. It doesn't bother the population at all. They'll be complaining about stupid things. But when you talk about, let's go to the deep situation of what is ruining the country, that is ruining the country, they won't. You see the population dancing in the political party, dancing for the president, dancing. What do you dance? What do you dance for? You don't know. So when you talk with the population, I'm telling you, if you go to these countries like mine, for example, you can have a whole book of psychological case study. I'm serious. Not only do you see that the Stockholm syndrome is real, but sometimes you wonder in your mind, does it worth dying for a population like that, who is not even able to understand the main reason of the fight that they is, somehow I'm kind of disappointed with the previous generation because they didn't do the job. Okay, they didn't do the job. Kind of disappointed because the generation who came maybe during colonization and after colonization, a few of them didn't understand that this so-called independence was not real. Okay, and they didn't fight for us, the new generation after them. They didn't fight for us so we could have a better life. When you look countries in Africa, you just look when you go to countries in Africa in general. I don't say, of course, there are countries that are probably built better. But you always see something that is very flagrant, to your eyes. There are always parts that looks good and parts that you wonder what's going on there. How this level of poverty is possible in that country. I remember a few years ago when I was back home, I happened to work by feet. I don't always take car, and sometimes I just want to walk and look around. And I was walking, and I stopped at a certain level in the area where I was. It was good looking, okay? It was good to see. When I look on the other side of the street, I saw houses that were completely, you can't even describe the construction. It's so much it's so poor that you don't even know how to explain that level of poverty. The construction in our countries, you see always trashes. It's something, It's because you understand. Someone who is smart understand already that if this country don't develop properly or are not built properly, you already understand that there is a situation of corruption there. There is no doubt. If you take me to a country in Africa, for example, I will observe It's not easy. You take me from the plane. On the top of the plane, I already have an idea what is happening, because you understand that if the country is not built properly, and then it's always something about that we always have to remember. There are things what is said on paper, and there are things that you see on the ground. In the case of my country, for example, we barely 1 million and so on, barely 1 million, because the rate of infantile mortality is high. It means what? That in my country, children still die from birth. It means when you read something like that, you don't need to be an expert. You already understand that there is a problem in the management concerning the healthcare, for example. Okay? It's an example. Because corruption works hand to hand with nepotism, mismanagement, and there's another one I'll be finding later. So the level of the rate of children dying, if you're still talking about that today, you understand that there is negligence and there is mismanagement in a way. People are stealing money. And now, then when you go now on the ground, you can have now more facts. As you go, you look in hospital, you see how it is, you understand. The fact is real, okay? You understand now the reason. I'm not going to go there. So you see the cities from the top, you understand that there's mismanagement of the money, okay? You understand that people have maybe a certain budget and they don't do the job properly because some people are taking the money. As I explained, sometimes it comes from the fact that you have people who are in high function, but there are many family members who need help. That's why I say it's a cycle. Even if someone today criticizes people of the government, the same person criticizing today, you put that person in the government, the same position, he will do the same thing. Okay? He will do the same thing. So, it is important to teach the population to change. And that's why I talk a lot about the mindset, the change of mindset, the mentality. You see the cities. You see how the city is built. Like, for example, a country like Nigeria, you see, okay, there is a huge gap between rich people and poor. The gap is insanely high. Okay? Just an example, just to name one. In my country, we have this kind of situation that's happening now. Nigeria, but I know that it's one of the main oil exporter, we say. My country is also oil producer, and we have minerals that we sell internationally. So you can't understand how this country that has so much, that are producing so much and making so much money, cannot provide for a small population. It means what? Plan that lack of management. It is important to understand that this is the reason why Africa cannot move forward, cannot do much. Even if you have good, you are willing, you have goodwill, you come to your country, you want to do stuff, but there is still the issue of corruption that will always stuck you. You can go back home with a good idea to build in your country, but corruption will find you and will be your first obstacle. You cannot do much. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. It's difficult. And sometimes that's why many Africans are disappointed. They give up and then they leave the country. It's sad that our authorities still don't get it. But the thing is, we are okay with it. They are okay. They don't see anything wrong with it. That is very sad. So how do you fight corruption? Me, I will just say in few words. teach the population on TV, because people like TV so much, African people like TV a lot, then teach them on TV that corruption is wrong. And you put little sport, TV sport, ad, commercial, I don't know how to say that. You see the consequences on TV about corruption. 2, you declare war to corruption officially, but you also have action with your war. You tell the population, if this, we are going to do this. And unfortunately, you will have to take example for the population to see that this is what we deal, this is how we deal with corruption. It starts even at school. Yes, if children want to corrupt their teachers or principal in school, you have to teach them that it is wrong, because it starts even in high school too. Okay? 3, you remove by nepotism, you remove all these nepotism people who came. There is no tribal affiliation or helping brothers and sisters. You put the person who has the capacity and the who is competent for the job. It's not about my parent is because I am affiliated to. No, it's about changing that habit also. Making sure that people are on time, making sure that people come to work. If you don't come, if you don't do your job properly, I'm going to cut that money in your salary, and you will see the consequences. Like, for example, when I say that the nurse who didn't care about the woman who were in pain, in labor in my country, there was another one, she was bleeding in labor, nobody assisted them, okay? And because the nurse were talking about their life, sitting, laughing, while the 2 other ladies were were in labor, the other one was pushing herself, the baby. Me, I am the doctor. I found a nurse like that, or I'm the director of the hospital structure. I catch you like that. I will make sure that you understand that what you did was so wrong. I will take you as an example for the other employees, the other nurses, that you don't play with people's lives. So, corruption is evil. Corruption is so wrong. We need to work on that in our continent. If you want to see development on this continent, it starts by fighting corruption. If you have a president who never really addressed the situation, then you know that you are in trouble. You are in trouble. And this is sad, because even looking at the city, you see how the city are built. You see, like, it's good there. But yeah, it has to be consequent. If a minister has stolen money, the people of the government must make sure that that person pay for what he did. But unfortunately, because most of them are stealing, so nobody is taking sanction on anyone. That's what I have to say about it.